Thanks very much. Dan Venier is the name. Dan Venier. As my mom keeps saying, get the name right, will you? It's always difficult following Terry. Folks, I'm honored to be here. Yeah, there you go. That works. Thank you. Honored to be here on the traditional territory of the Siouxland First Nation. Folks, this election is about Canada. It's about hope and integrity rather than the politics of fear. It's about our democracy and a new beginning for our country. This election is about taking care of our families and communities, and not about building mega prisons with our money for a country with a declining crime rate. We live in a country where our voices need to be heard. With sound, honest leadership, we get to decide what direction we want our country to go in. We get to decide together what issues are vitally important to this incredibly diverse and blessed constituency. The Liberal Party of Canada, under Michael Ignatius' honest leadership, wants to listen to your opinions and ideas. I want to listen to your ideas and bring your voice to Ottawa. I'm profoundly humbled and honored to be our candidate in this riding. First time in my life that I've ever run for anything, including dog catcher, much less member of Parliament. Over the past 2 years, while living and traveling in this constituency of ours, I've heard over and over again the desire for an honest conversation between Canadians and our government. So I'm proposing that we have that conversation, that we have it about the future of our country, that we have it about substance, that we talk and listen about what we think we need to do as Canadians to make this great country a lot better, because it can and should be, and it must be. Thank you.
Again, apologies for the name, Vignes. And we have fourth up, we have Doug Hart. Doug is representing the Canadian Action Party. Doug?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I've had the privilege of accompanying the people that you see beside me for the last 2 weeks, and this is my first crack at politics. But one thing I have learned in association with these people about politics, that there's two very, very important things about politics that we have to know. The first, it's all about corporate money, and I forget the second. People in Powell River that I talk to are worried about the super tankers coming out of Vancouver Harbor. Super tankers 3 times the size of the Exxon Valdez, going to international markets. I have a clear understanding of the people that I know in Powell River that they're against this. Now, how many people here know that Vancouver Harbor and Georgia Strait is being threatened by 17 million gallons of dirty oil from the tar sands going to international markets every week? Hold your hand up, please. Question is, why don't you know? When I came into the school, it's the first time I've been in the school, I took a deep breath out there and looked at the view. That's under threat as we speak. Now, Dan Benyes and John Weston thinks that's okay. The Canadian Action Party doesn't, and I'll tell you why. If you go to our website, Canadian Action Party, just type it in your browser and you'll come up with it. In our policies about the environment, we want to keep our air, our sand, our land, and our water clean. And we will not tolerate or accept anything that threatens it through greed and profit. Again, you go to that site. Incidentally, this party was formed by Paul Hellyer. Does anybody remember Paul Hellyer? This is his party. It was formed in 1997. Now, a spill from one of those super tankers will destroy life as we know it. And I think that the people in this area that are affected by it should know that. And we ought to seriously question why you don't. What's happening with Kinder Morgan and that pipeline is reckless behavior. If you vote Liberal or if you vote Conservative, you will guarantee that there's going to be more than 2 tankers. The plans right now with Kinder Morgan are 5 tankers per week. That's more reckless behavior. Now, how many people here heard of Bernie Madoff? You know what happened to Bernie Madoff, right? That was a Ponzi scheme. If you think that's bad, you got to see what we're all caught up in. We don't know it. There's a group of banksters in the world called the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers, and they're running the agenda for the Bilderberg Group, which Harper hosted in 2006, and Mr. Campbell was on the attendance list in 2010. Now, you don't get records from that group. They won't tell you what's going on. But I think that what's going on there is not very nice for Canadians. We're losing our democracy. I'll talk more about this later on. Thank you very much.
Number 5 up, Progressive Canadian Party, Roger Lagacé.
Thank you very much. I'd also like to begin by acknowledging that we're in the traditional territory of the Sliaman First Nation, and I wish them a speedy resolution to their treaty negotiations. And I think that the resolution, the outcome of those negotiations ought to be to put the people from the Sliaman on top of the economic ladder in this region, and the people from the Sechelt Nation on top of the economic ladder, and the people from the Squamish Nation and the Lillooet Nation should be on top of the economic ladder. I'll talk about that later. The main reason why I'm in this race is because I want us to bring our troops home. Our troops are fighting in little countries. We've invaded these countries. We've long since forgotten why we're killing all these people there. And that's my number 1 objective, is to put out that message to bring our troops home. The second objective is to, what do we do when we have our troops home? Well, we can have them help us organize so that we're prepared in the event of natural disasters, such as the floods that are happening on the prairies right now, and the big one that can hit the West Coast. And our riding is really very much West Coast. One of the main platforms of the Progressive Canadian Party is to eliminate post-secondary tuition. Now remember, this is the Progressive Canadian Party. It used to be the Progressive Conservative Party before it got swallowed up by the Alliance. Now, some old-timers from the Progressive Conservative Party, I think they're mainly red Tories, they didn't want to die, so they arranged to continue under a different name, the Progressive Canadian Party. And on your ballot, it'll be written PC Party. So if you don't like what's going, if you're not, if you tend to vote Progressive Conservative, and you don't like what the extreme right wing is doing, you have an option on the ballot. It's called PC Party, and that's me, Roger Lagacé. There's a little accent there. It's to help you begin making your X right next to it. The fourth element on the main element on the Progressive Canadian Party's website is to build, and this is sort of building on John E. MacDonald's dream, is to build a high-speed, clean, efficient, economical commuter train system to unite the country coast to coast to coast. And I've added something to that. I think that we should give grade 12 graduates a free pass for 1 year to see their country on that clean, efficient, high-speed train system. And I think people will come from all over the world to do the Canada trek. Thank you.
Thank you, Roger. And last up, we have number 6 is the Green Party of Canada, Brennan Waters. Brennan.
Thank you very much, and it's appreciated that my colleagues have recognized that we are on traditional territories. I just wanted to point out that the Vancouver Sun today did a poll, and they predicted that Elizabeth May will actually win her riding. I think another really interesting thing that happened this weekend is that In the advance polls, 2 million Canadians voted. This is glorious, and we need to make sure that everybody votes in this next election because we have very important. The Green Party of Canada platform is premised on 3 significant items: smart economy, true democracy, and strong communities. All those 3 pillars function together, but the essence of why we are here is because we're looking at everything through the lens of environmentalism. So we talk about energy, we talk about making decisions based upon energy, we talk about long-term sustainable programs that will give us options in the future, and what we're really looking for is to focus more and more all the time on our children and our children's children. Today I had the chance to talk about agriculture today on BC Almanac, on the CBC. So in my mind right now is food security, localization, and when I come to the Sunshine Coast, unfortunately I did not come today by ferry, but I think of how urgent it is that in this part of the world we need an aggressive food security program to make sure that if something does happen, this area of the BC coast is not going to be impacted as it would be if something happened now. As far as I know, there's only about 3 days of food available on the coast. If the ferries weren't running, we wouldn't have that food here. We want to ask those questions, we want to address those problems, and we want to address them head on. And we want the other parties to also consider what we're trying to say. And I very much appreciate the fact that, in fact, there's 3 women running in this riding. And I think that's essential because our parliament is only comprised of 22% women right now. It's important that we bring everyone into the discussion, including Aboriginal peoples. There's no better time to bring Aboriginal people into the equation because for thousands of years they have actually lived sustainably. And we are seeking this. We're seeking this for the rest of us, for our children and their children's children. Thank you.
Thank you all for your comments. We're going to go into the open microphone session now. And what I would encourage you to do is kind of line up in an orderly manner on each side. We'll go microphone A and microphone B, and we will acknowledge you by saying, please, microphone A, speak now. When your questions are directed, we ask that you direct your questions